Hi, everyone. I hope that you are enjoying GatherVerse 2023. I'm Dr. Jenoch, and I'm going to talk a little bit about education and the metaverse. So in November 2022, OpenAI released its chatbot ChatGPT to the public for free. Everyone was pretty excited about exploring the limits of this new digital AI toy, and there was a lot of excitement. A lot of industries were seeing the benefits to GPT and were loving this innovation. And then as the novelty wore off, apprehension and fear started to set in. And one of the industry that was most apprehensive was the education industry, the one that I'm part of as a professor. And the apprehension came about when people started to post about the fact that GPT could deliver extensive academic papers in a record amount of time, in much less time than it would take someone to write a paper historically. So this set off an alarm in academia, and the alarm was so loud that the New York City Department of Education voted against having access to GPT on its networks. There were questions about the ethical use of GPT by students and academics, because here students could input information and produce something that looked like it was written by a person. And as you see here in this graphic, you put in a question or a prompt and GPT would put out something that looks pretty intelligent. And so the question of what are we assessing or who are we assessing when we get papers that may have been created by AI? GPT sort of put in the forefront this topic that has kind of been percolating a little bit in the education field, but now it was in our collective conscience and consciousness, and we now hopefully can solve it collectively. So I had stopped assigning term papers a long time ago because of this very reason. And I started to look for different ways of assessing student learning. And I came across a topic called authentic assessment, and it was new to me. I didn't know what it involved until I started to take a couple of courses, and I got to see that assessing students by papers in quizzes and exams were not necessarily the best way, and that research has been showing us that this has not been the best way, but we've continued to do it just out of tradition. And so what is authentic assessment? Authentic assessment is an approach to measuring student learning. It's student-centered and it's focused on real-world application and problem solving. It prompts students to show how the knowledge that they've gained in the classroom or in a course can be applied to a real-world situation. Authentic assessment can take many forms, as you see here. It can be based on problems, it can be based on a scenario, or it can be based on a project. So this was a new tool that I was enjoying. It made more sense that we are assessing learning that is very specific to the student or specific to what we're teaching. It was no longer a cookie-based one size fits all sort of assessment. I also had known about a theory, intelligence theory, called multiple intelligence theory. And so together, let me explain this in a minute. So multiple intelligence theory was developed by Dr. Howard Gardner. And at the time, intelligence was thought to consist of one form of intelligence, one type. We only have one way of being intelligent. But Dr. Gardner's research showed that we have multiple ways. In fact, we have 8 ways of showing intelligence listed here. It can be through movement, music, visual, natural environment, and so on. And so I started to combine authentic assessment and multiple intelligence theory to start to transform the way that I educate and the way that I assess student learning. And so what does this look like? If we have a student who is a bodily kinesthetic learner, you may want to assess their work through role playing or other hands-on assessments. If your student is more, or you want to measure interpersonal intelligence, you can assign people-based people interaction, group interaction types of assessments. So although educators are not expected to develop authentic assessments for each individual student and to revamp their entire toolkit, I feel that incorporating some of these methods of assessment can go a long way to creating a more human-centered education system in the metaverse. And so this slide and the next one, there are just multiple ways in which we can assess student learning, right? You can have students create videos, write in journals, be more reflective for interpersonal learners. You can have students submit music-based assignments like creating a music playlist. They can create graphs, get involved in web-based group games or simulations. The possibilities are endless. So as we forge ahead and we meet new AI-related tools that may look like they're about to replace human input, I encourage us to step back a bit. Step back for one and start to just take care of ourselves. Because when we take care of ourselves, it allows our humanity to shine through. Our humanity is valuable to our students. It is what will help to inspire us, our students to greatness. As you also take some time to take care of yourself, step back and focus on your why. Ask yourself why you became an educator. Think about what unique perspective you can bring to the learning environment. And your answers will most often lead you to aspects of learning that cannot be placed in an algorithm, at least not just yet. We have a unique way of connecting as humans, of observing and of focusing on details. And so we should also remember that there are pioneers and resources there to help us along this journey in education. Pioneers like Dr. Musina Morris, who is a VR pioneer in higher education at Morehouse College and is charting new territory and creating authentic VR learning experiences for her students with great success. Dr. Philippa Hardman is a learning scientist who has been posting weekly about learning research in ChatGPT. And then there's Edward Tian, the Princeton Uni student who created GPT-0 to counter ChatGPT and to help teachers to detect the use of AI-generated term papers. So explore topics like authentic assessment, explore multiple intelligence theory, because this is where we can help to tap into our humanity, tap into our creativity, and help to create a formula for education in the metaverse that will retain this humanity and allow us to focus on what we do best as educators, or on what matters, which is learning. So as technology leans into itself, I hope that we can remember to lean into our humanity, to create spaces that are welcoming for everyone. And so I'll leave you with this thought, which is, educators, we got this. Just stay calm and educate. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this talk, and I hope that you continue to enjoy the GatherVerse. Take care.